I'm Susannah.
And I'm Sarah. And this is our podcast, Silent Matters. Welcome back to Silent Matters from SJ Personnel. We've got Sarah Jane here as your host, and our co-host, we've got the amazing Susannah Allbones.
Hi, guys.
Hi. And we've got a great guest here, which Sue's actually spelled the name wrong. So just...
We're off to a good start.
We're off to a good start. It's Matt Cowdell.
That's correct.
Not Cowdell, as Suze has done on the running sheet. So we will...
Apologies.
Yeah, we'll get that one edited. Anyway, from Arthur Street Digital, based out of the Federal Mills. So we've got some really fantastic insights into social media, what's going on in the future, what is the future going to look like from a work point of view. And we're also going to delve in a personal point of view from our children to what the industry looks like. So first of all, we might just get Matt to chat about his journey. People don't know Matt, maybe. Sure. Just kind of where you've come from and what is Arthur Street, or tell us a little bit about you and
cool.
About yourself.
Thanks for having me.
Nice.
So my journey, how far back do I go? I spent most of my sort of working career. So I grew up in Geelong, just around the corner in Grovedale. Started sort of my professional life, I guess, in media. So working for large media companies like Herald Sun, Fox Sports, and sort of learnt, this is all back before digital was really a thing, back in the print days, sort of, learnt a lot about marketing and media, and then went client side, spent some time as a marketing manager, and then sort of realised that there's many areas of the industry that are kind of broken. So sort of around the time where a lot of people were getting ripped off with SEO, and there wasn't a lot of transparency in what digital marketing agencies actually did. So I sort of set out to start Arthur Street to be a little bit different. And
what is Arthur Street, by the way? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
So Arthur Street is our digital marketing agency. So we're a small business. We've got...
But the name, where does that come from?
Yeah, so I, funnily enough, live in Arthur Street in Hamilton Heights.
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, so, there's something in there around when I first started the business. I sort of wanted to, I guess, embody the value of, home as well. And, I guess what we've done with the agency is sort of create a bit of a family as well. Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of where we went.
I love
Amazing.
that. Oh, it's such a family. We, luckily enough, share a building with Matt. And we just see, I follow you guys also on social media, and just you bike ride and you go out and help charities and you do greenhouse days, we're helping gardening and picking up rubbish, and you've just... amazing what you bring in for the team. I think you bring a lot of value and you almost look like a family.
Yeah, totally.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate in the team and how everybody sort of pulls together. We do a lot of, corporate social responsibility stuff. So I, always just believed if you have the ability to give back, you should. And we sort of live and breathe that. And we're always, it's fun as well. I mean, that's the other side of it. Yeah. We love getting out of the office and doing something and helping other people, I guess, is the other side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's brilliant. So, amazing. So with... God, social media, it's such a hard thing. We're actually just talking off camera.
Where do we start?
Oh, you want to start? And I know we delved into avenues we probably maybe shouldn't, but we're all probably similar age group in the room. I'm in my 30s. You guys are probably in your 40s.
1 year off 40.
Yeah, 1 year.
Which I think it's just such a massive tipping point going from
mate,
39.
we've both been there. We're way over.
I feel 50's
we're
really
way
scary.
over. We're both way over 40. But
I was laughing at the Geelong Business Excellence Awards, how they've started advertising again. Having a look at the criteria for the Young Entrepreneur of the Year, the cut-off's 40.
Oh, God. Imagine.
I'm really there.
We're Suze, we're out. We're way out.
Way out.
But that's okay. Take deep breaths. Plenty of fillers and Botox would be okay. But anyway, just how the market's changed so much too with how social media is coming from. We're talking about, even from a dating point of view, like Tinder and all those sites. It just is so massive now in the youth and those kind of things. So where is social media going to die? Did it come in and did it go crazy, and do you think it's going to die off, or is it still on a steep channel? Is there any insights?
Look, so I mean, like what we were sort of speaking about a minute ago, I sort of look at it across a couple of lenses. First of all, running a business, I think social media when I first sort of started in mainstream media, it was just as Facebook was sort of becoming huge and we were all getting off MySpace and then getting really excited about this new thing called Facebook. And it's funny looking back at some of the crap that I used to post, all these just stupid here's a photo of my floorboards. It's just like all this rubbish.
Yeah.
So cringeworthy looking back. But I think, it's interesting thinking about social media has done a lot of good in those early days of Facebook. We had a way to effectively connect with friends and family. And
Absolutely.
when people were overseas, all that sort of thing. And for businesses in those early days of adopting Facebook and Instagram, it really was pretty easy to get yourself out there in the days of, I don't know if you guys have followed Gary Vaynerchuk. He's sort of one of the really early adopters of social media for his business. He had a wine business. And I think that, a lot of that's really died off now. Like for businesses to get any sort of cut through with content, it's a real challenge because just so few people will actually see the content that most businesses are throwing out. Yeah. So there's sort of the stages for businesses. And I think now a lot of businesses are having to sort of pay to play and run Facebook ads or Instagram ads in order to reach audiences and connect with them these days. And then sort of on the other side, thinking about it as a dad and, thinking about how our kids are now growing up with social media, whereas it was never a thing when I was growing up.
Well, they're bullying because you can quite easily bull and make fun of people, and because you put yourself out there on social media on the platform to hopefully build business, but then you can get critiqued at the same time, and it's really easy to be a keyboard warrior, isn't it? And to write about someone behind a keyboard.
I have a 15-year-old, and the panic that sets in to her face if she loses her phone. It's something that I will never understand coming from a completely different generation.
We didn't have mobiles.
Our 8-year-old now gets battery anxiety.
Oh, they do.
If battery's
If it's below a certain percent.
It's like, I've got to charge it.
But the way the next generation are inviting each other to parties, have you heard how they do it now?
No.
So it's not the old traditional come to my party, here's an invite, or here's even a text message now. It's a Snapchat invite only. So it's just the person that's having the party. They put that they're going to have a party on Snapchat and they'll disclose the details later, and then you have to apply to be accepted to the party.
Oh, wow.
So me as a person, if I'm a 15-year-old girl, I'm now going, yes, Sarah Jane, you can apply. You can come to my party.
On Snapchat,
Matt, yes, you can come to my party.
But how are you included? If you're not on social media, then you're excluded in the industry.
100% you're excluded.
So you have no option.
So if you are a 14, 15-year-old person, you have no choice but to be on Snapchat.
But that's not fair.
Well, it is. It's you can't stop progress.
And talk about, all those people that miss out, the feelings
and then
the negativity that's
therein lies
with
comes
that.
the bullying. Yeah. If you don't have Snapchat, you're an outsider. We don't want to talk to her. She's not online, and it's a really cutthroat system.
It's quite scary, and there's almost no. As a parent, it's really difficult to navigate that because as you were saying, if you don't allow your kids on it, they're missing out on so much conversation.
And they're bullied from that too.
They're bullied for that, and they're also missing out on an opportunity to really get to know digital and engage with digital products as well, which is another side of it. Apparently in the US now, the average age of getting a mobile phone, a smartphone, is 8, which is
does
scary.
not surprise me
it's not
at all.
surprising, but
An
it's
8-year-old.
It's scary.
Doesn't surprise me. How many times have we walked around shopping centres and there's mum, bless her, just trying to have a break. Kid's got the iPhone in his hand. He might be 18 months old, knows exactly how to work it. You can't blame parents.
There's no control of the content. I know you can control some content, but there's pretty terrible content out there too that you got to be pretty cautious of what they're seeing.
Yeah, it's so hard to stop, to
you
stop
put boundaries, can't
accessing
you?
that. Yeah,
you can put
certain
things.
You can. And it's sort of, I don't know what the solution is there. It's almost like all parents just need to get together and decide on some, let's all agree on some rules around this. And
it is exhausting as how fast it's moving.
Yes.
As soon as you're banning or changing the settings on one app,
It's a new thing.
they're on another app.
Yeah.
I think TikTok is the biggest concern for everybody when it comes to our children.
Yes.
It's all over the media. It's always there. But bringing it back to your business, you've got some young ones working for you. Do they come to you and, are there any new products out there that in terms of a digital marketing agency is incredibly helpful for businesses and companies? Are you seeing anything new in industry?
So the team are constantly lobbying me to get us on TikTok. So I think that probably no surprise that, TikTok is massive for most young people, and, young people being sort of probably anyone 15 or younger than that up to 25.
Yeah.
Like it is just such a sticky, engaging platform.
'Cause it's quick, isn't it? It's almost like instant gratification. It's like
Yeah.
quick video, grabs you.
Everything goes viral on it, so
Yeah.
people love it because whatever they're posting, it also gets seen by a huge amount of people.
Yeah.
So it's massive. So yeah, the team are really trying to get us on TikTok. But I think like a lot of Australian, businesses and brands, and we're seeing it play out in the US, where there's a fair bit of pressure on TikTok to, look at its business model and look at the amount of data it's collecting. And a lot of Australian brands are sort of a bit scared about, setting up an account in terms of just the amount of data that actually is collected. It's massive.
Because who owns TikTok? Like where?
It's
Very good question.
Yeah, it's owned. I can't remember the name of the parent company, but it is part owned out of China.
Okay.
And that's sort of where some of the concerns goes to. There was a really good 60 Minutes interview with an Australian. I think he was one of the defence sort of people talking about just some of their concerns about sort of pushing TikTok on their business model to have a look at the data it collects.
Like what?
So
like from a business point of view, like SJ's not on TikTok. I almost don't feel.
What would we do? Parade candidates in front of it?
Like I almost feel TikTok's a bit of a. I don't think it's business. Like,
no,
what's the point of
think,
TikTok?
I think that's the challenge. So we're at that point where there's a huge amount of eyeballs on it. So there's lots of people engaging with content. A lot of people are using the platform and spending a fair bit of time on it.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the amount of time spent on social media in Australia, TikTok's like the number one.
But what's it meant?
So people are just engaging with content. They're just like watching.
But what's the main, like TikTok, when they brought TikTok out, what's their target audience? Like, what is the purpose of TikTok?
So I think they found a bit of a niche audience in doing short video that's really sort of setting a trend in that there's sort of be one piece of content that then will go viral, and a lot of people will sort of mirror and
all
try and copy
videos,
that.
isn't it? It's all
So,
whereas Facebook and Instagram or photos.
The younger generations, if they are, in terms of consumer spend, product purchase, what they're looking for, what they want, they go straight to TikTok
100%.
and they review it.
But you don't have to be friends with people on TikTok, do you?
No,
so
you just have to have an account,
just
don't you?
follow anyone. So there's not much privacy.
No, correct. There isn't a huge amount of privacy. But I think like a lot of businesses are now, grappling with, okay, there's a lot of people using it, but how is it relevant for our business? And I think, businesses need to sort of stop and really think about what do they want to be known for? What sort of content would they post? Some are doing it quite well, like larger brands have sort of done it and doing quite interesting, sort of engaging video content. But I think for a lot of small to medium-sized businesses, it's a real challenge.
Is that why you're holding back?
So we're holding back because of those sort of privacy and data concerns in that, until there's a bit more of a consensus around why they need some of that extra data, like keystroke data, and they get data on the direction that you're facing and a whole bunch of stuff that they probably don't need. At that point, we'll consider it. And I think probably then a lot of other businesses will follow suit. But I mean, as an agency, we use it as an ad platform, and a lot of our campaigns now will have an element where we'll push out ads across TikTok, and it is a really good way where engagement in Facebook and Instagram ads is dropping. Businesses can get some pretty good reach and cut through TikTok.
Well, you almost have to, if that's where the market's going, even if you don't agree with it, you almost have to follow it. Like it's not a choice. Like if that's, Facebook was trend, then Instagram came trend, and then Twitter was trend, and if now TikTok's the new go, then business have to just follow, and you have to keep up, don't you? You have to keep up with the change.
Look, I think so. We always urge our clients and anyone that we're helping out with the strategy, do the work to really understand your audience first. Like where is your audience? Where are they spending their time? On what level can you emotionally engage with them? And then make a decision about which social media platforms you're going to be on. And it's like the whole, running a business challenge that you're so time poor. You can't do Facebook, Instagram and TikTok well if you've got, half a person in marketing and not a huge amount of time to actually deliver great content.
I'd be really interested to hear, if you're happy to give the audience a freebie, if anyone's listening, SJ's just done a big rebrand. I mean, what do you think? When do you think a brand? I mean, if you're feeling it's a bit redundant, I mean, Arthur Street's a very cool name, very cool branding. SJ's just gone through a really cool looking rebrand.
I like the new look. Yeah.
It does look great,
cool.
But you've gone from very corporate, Sarah, to a little bit lighter, a little bit more fun. What do you think? I mean, as a client, if I came to you and I had sort of this old redundant, how many years do you think someone should be rebranding? I mean, a Nike, for example, would never rebrand.
Yeah.
Or McDonald's or something because their logo is
but
so
a smaller
prominent.
brand.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Look, you can usually tell when the visual identities, that's usually the first thing that gets out of date. It's the visual look and feel that, it might have certain fonts that they just date badly and they pretty quickly look old.
Yeah.
Even though like Nike doesn't update its logo and its visual identity, they do evolve the sort of meaning that sits behind them, the sort of purpose stuff.
And they change things, colours and...
I feel like they do, and McDonald's is similar, like they've got the M, but they still evolve and change, the menu changes, the branding changes constantly, don't they, to keep up with the trends of the market. And obviously health has become such an important factor in children and obesity. So they have adapted to having a healthy menu, to incorporate the whole of society. So
you think it's really important for, and look, let's be honest, we do tend to talk about small to medium business issues in here. You think it's really important for small to medium businesses to maybe check that and look at it and...
It's really hard to measure, but branding is one of the most important things that anyone can spend time thinking about, because it's people engage because of a deeper purpose. Like people will engage with a brand that they have an emotional connection with. So it's not necessarily about, who's got the best product. It's literally about who do I believe, who do I trust, who shares the same worldview as me, and that's who people will engage with. So we often will talk to and, through a bit of a strategy process, lead people on that path to just hit pause, because they might sort of come to us going, I need to run some campaigns, or I might need this little thing done, when we can sort of hit pause and go, okay, well, what does the bigger picture actually look like? Who are we communicating with? What makes them tick? And then how can we build a brand that really stands for something? And that's kind of, where good marketing starts from, that sort of wider thing about building something that people want to engage with.
And from Arthur Street's perspective, when a client comes to you and engages with you, how long is that process from start to finish to this is my vision, this is the output? Yeah,
so sometimes it's almost a sort of continuous process. We'll often work with a startup who doesn't, have anything like that in place, and or a small business that might be just sort of starting out. That sort of process can be worked through fairly quickly. Do a little bit of research, understand what, what's their sort of unfair advantage, and then you can sort of build the brand around that. And usually, then building out a visual identity can be done within a couple of months, and then sort of making it happen and doing the sort of implementation phase to get that brand out there and in front of the right people. But for any other sort of more established business, it's almost like something you should, spend a bit of time, do it initially, but then constantly revisit it. And I mean, branding it's almost sort of everything.
Is it analytics though? Like how do you, when you talk about branding, how do you you can go, Arthur Street's a great brand, but how do you know that? Like what does that actually mean? Like what does branding mean? Like how would you judge a good brand from a not so successful brand?
Yeah, I mean, branding can be really difficult to measure. It's one of those things that, it's not so straightforward that there's a part in Google Analytics where we can actually track, how many people live and breathe what we do.
Yeah.
But we can run marketing campaigns for somebody with a really poor brand that doesn't really connect with people. And then we can run campaigns for a brand that really connects with people, and the impact is just so much greater.
Yeah, okay.
So it's sort of like you see all of the metrics move if the brand is really hitting the mark and connecting with people.
So you need a real story. Do you think that's a Geelong community thing, or do you think that's worldwide? Like you need that, people need to resonate with you, do they, and really connect with your story? Yeah,
100%. It starts with an understanding of your target customer.
Yeah.
And then, if you want to take a business worldwide, then you would do that on a worldwide scale. But if you want to keep it local, you could keep it local. But yeah, I mean, and that's one of the whole measurement thing around brands. That's why it's so difficult, I think, for a lot of small businesses to really justify spending the time and money on getting it right, spending money thinking about their values and their purpose and their kind of the why statement.
Yes.
Because it's so difficult to go, okay, we're spending $10,000, $20,000 on that, but when will we see the money back? Whereas if you're running an ad campaign on Google, it's a lot easier to equate that to increased leads or increased product sales or whatever.
Yeah.
And how do you know, like we all want a crystal ball to tell us what the future's going to hold, which would be amazing if we could actually have one. But social media, is social media going to die? What's going to happen with social media? Like, where it's kind of come and it's massive. It's had some huge impact. I feel like people are getting sick of it and over it. I hear so many of my friends
everyone's saturated by it, I think.
So many friends say I'm off social media. Like, I've got heaps of posts, heaps of my friends I'll see regularly on Facebook going, I'm off social media. If you want to contact me, message my phone. I'm no longer on here. And it seems to be a common thread.
Yes.
People are tired from it.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And I'm tired of it in many respects. And like most people running a business, it's so hard now to just have the time to keep up to date on what's happening on LinkedIn and the rest of it that, it can be a real challenge. Yeah. Is it going to die? Look, I don't know. We're at a very interesting time in digital and in sort of business with everything that's happening now with ChatGPT and these artificial intelligence language models that all of a sudden ChatGPT has the ability to create huge amounts of content really quickly. So any brand now can go to ChatGPT and go create 10 social media posts that speak to these kind of people that have this tone and include these products.
And it's there within 60 seconds.
And it's there.
But it's outdated and the SEO is not going to be picked up either.
Correct. Yeah. So there are some challenges. It is outdated. But all of a sudden we've got lots of content that brand could then flood into social media and sort of who's going to engage with it. So, we're at a very interesting time to see how that plays out. I don't know, my prediction with the crystal balls back in the car, but I think that there'll always be a platform that people are connecting on.
Yeah.
But I think that'll shift, like we're seeing a shift to TikTok. Yeah. But kind of what's next? Are we going to look for a more transparent platform that, maybe has some features in place to protect our privacy better, all those sorts of things.
What's that one that's the kids are all into? The kids, I sound like such a grandma.
Kids these days.
It's like TikTok, but it's the real me type.
Oh, Be Real?
Be Real.
Oh, is that new?
Yeah, Be Real. I don't know. It seems to have, I don't know if it's
I
already
think
come
it's
and gone.
died.
Yeah,
it was. My kids were into it, and now it's sort of. But that is the next sort of, because you can already see the pattern that even the younger ones are exhausted by this fake Instagram, TikTok setup that they're almost looking for, well, my life doesn't look like that. I want to start seeing something that's actually real. Yeah. Even though Be Real didn't last, you can see that clearly someone that's created that, there's a want for this generation. They're going to get fed up with everything around them being fake.
And I hope so, like how good would it be if there was a platform, because that's one of the challenges that a lot of people talk about with social media and the whole mental health thing. It's everybody's highlight reel, and it's so easy to compare yourself to a really selected group of images that somebody's choosing to share.
Best of their day.
Yeah, correct. And it's
not real.
It doesn't show any of the times that they were crying before going to work or anything like that.
Or how they looked up and actually woke up in the morning pre-makeup and hairdressers and whatever else they seem to do. So it's not reality.
So it isn't reality. So, and I don't know why Be Real. I think it was a bit of work and probably hard in terms of having to respond to something almost immediately when somebody sends you a post. So, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
We used to have magazines, though. So we used to have your Dolly and Cosmopolitan, things like that as a teenager, we would see them.
Yes.
And that was a perception of body image and looks similar to social media. You'd buy them, like magazines aren't big now, but you used to buy them and you'd sit at home and go, oh, I don't look like this, I don't look like that. So it's almost similar platform.
Oh, look, it's been around since the dawn of time, but it was just that when you shut that magazine, that was the end of it. I mean,
you still had it in your mind.
Head.
I think it still had this perception in your mind that you weren't good enough because you didn't look like the person in front of Dolly. That was, I don't think we didn't know about also the fact you actually could change what someone looked like. On a picture, you actually thought they really look like that.
Well, I do also think this is why Be Real has become redundant very quickly. I think girls in particular saw themselves without all of the apps overlaying and without all of the touch and glory of what they can post. So people stopped using it. They were like, actually, that's the real me. I'm not interested. I don't want to see the real me. I want to see me, airbrushed and looking like I'm laying on the beach having the best time when really I've got sand through my hair and my mouth. And I think that is why something like Be Real ended, because I don't post anything that, I haven't looked at. And apart from you, who's always taking photos of me, Sarah, and posting them.
Sorry.
It is interesting what people say they want versus what they actually want. It seems to be miles apart.
It is.
We all say we want transparency.
Truth. Yes.
People still engage with all the influencers, and
true.
we still love
Hands
their content.
down. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like Instagram is still doing pretty well at protecting its patch and Reels now. I don't know if you guys are doing Reels.
Yeah.
But Reels.
What's the difference between a reel and a story?
So Reel is just short video content that's edited essentially.
Yeah.
You can build a reel and then post it into stories. But Reel content
What's a story then?
So story could be anything. Like it can be a static post that you just add to your stories feed. Instagram's just done such a brilliant job at making reels. It makes it so easy for anybody to quickly edit.
Yes.
Add music and make some really engaging content. So I think, I don't know, Instagram's still doing quite well as a platform, and, who knows what the next iteration will be.
Something new will come out though.
Well,
Facebook's slowly dying. I feel like Facebook's dying.
Except for our age group. I think we're very much active still on Facebook.
I just think community groups like all my friends do book club groups and they have them on Facebook, or a lot of school groups have their sporting group. I know WhatsApp, they have them as well, but they might have it on Facebook. And so it's convenient to have a group. It's an easy way to communicate, isn't it?
We Are Social do some really good analysis of which social media platforms are Australians spending their time on. And I think the latest data is from Jan this year shows Facebook and Messenger, which is also a Meta product, is they're the top two platforms, social media platforms that Australians spend their time on. Okay. And then I think it goes maybe Instagram and then TikTok.
Wow, okay.
So it is. So Facebook, even though we feel that way, because it feels like it's a bit outdated, but we still spend a huge amount of time, probably bumped up by those, people 40 and over.
Yeah,
probably.
Who was still spending time in there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, amazing. Wow.
Oh, it's interesting. It's just it's trying to keep up. I think, but that's technology that's changed. And I suppose sometimes you got to trial and error, isn't it? Sometimes you don't really know. It's almost just, if you're starting a business, get it out there, try and build a brand, and then just see how it goes sometimes.
Absolutely. There's, when you're running a small business, you've got a really limited amount of time and usually a pretty limited amount of marketing budget or money to sort of push into something. The only way to go is to do exactly that. You can't spend forever thinking about things and, engaging others to do research. You just need to go on a little bit of data, make a stab at what you think is the right direction to go in, and then just give it a go. And we often talk a lot about testing and learning, that you should always have, a couple of things that you think will work really well. And most of the time, we know what's going to have probably the most likely chance of doing well for marketing. Yeah. And then, always have a bit of an experimental budget to try some new things and see how they go.
80-20 rule, isn't it? Don't they always say 80-20 rule on most things?
I think another really, just back on the social media platforms, the evolution of LinkedIn. I mean, it started as a real business platform. It's kind of gone, I've only been on LinkedIn since I started with SJ. I didn't have it at my previous role, had no interest in it. So I don't know what it was, but I know my husband's always saying it was a great platform for business. It's kind of become a bit of a platform to just talk about everything and anything. Do you guys feel that way? I mean, you've probably been on it a lot longer than I have. Do you see it sort of evolving into, I'm going to rant just because I can on this platform?
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed. And I think they've tried to do a lot to allow people to post different kinds of content and all that. It used to literally be basic posts, pretty much people just dropping links to their blogs in it, and connecting, and they used to be able to write content actually on their platform and sort of share it. So I think I think it's definitely changed, and they're trying to be more conversational.
Open?
And
Yeah,
like
I think that maybe is a good thing because it's a bit of an adult professional platform to have. I mean, do you agree? I can see you wanting to be the devil's advocate.
No. I actually quite love LinkedIn. We generate a lot of business from LinkedIn. So from the small businesses out there, it's been an amazing platform, as our strongest platform by far. Yeah. So Facebook and Instagram, I wouldn't say we get much branding at all. All of our referrals, our work, our contacts, LinkedIn, I've got a massive following. All my branding is on there. I'd find that's massively helped SJ to grow is through LinkedIn. So, and that's the particular brand we're in. If I was selling a clothing line or something like that, Instagram would probably be where I'd follow.
Yes. We're
a HR recruitment service. So
you got to be on
LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Facebook and Instagram probably aren't really our target market, but we still just dabble in that just to make sure we're covering all avenues. But I am a huge advocate for LinkedIn.
So it is a real positive thing that it's evolved then.
Look, I think so. And I think personal branding is still really important as well to get, to have we're all running businesses, but we all have sort of our own flavour and our own personal brand. And to have, I always feel guilty that I don't do more LinkedIn. Like I wish I had more time to, do that thought leadership sort of piece where I could share more ideas. But sometimes it just comes back to the amount of time that you have to get your ideas out there.
Yeah. And one last thing, podcasts. Where are they? Where do they stand? Is it the new thing? Is it What's your insights on podcasts?
We're here. So
we are completely the way of the future.
Just because we're here doesn't mean anything.
No, look, I think podcasts are still, I love podcasts. I listen to a huge amount of podcasts. So I think.
Like what? Like what do you listen to?
The Learning Leader is a really cool podcast on leadership. There's a really good one on marketing called Marketing School. Oh, yeah. And one of the things I love about that one is each episode's only 5 minutes. Yeah. So
that's great. Yeah, so we'll call it quits here, guys.
We're way 32 minutes. We're way over.
We've rabbited on for too long.
Yeah.
So I think I love engaging with podcasts. Joe Rogan. There's a whole range of stuff that I'm into for all the interests that I'm into.
Yeah, good.
So I think they're massive. I think podcasts and being able to listen to people have a good conversation is always going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people doing podcasts though. So the challenge almost becomes
how do you cut through?
How do you
cut through? Oversaturated at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And how do you do the podcast and then also spend some time making sure that you find an audience for it?
Yep. Well, we're so thankful to have you on today. Now, if people want to use your amazing services, arthurstreet.com.
Yeah, .com.au. Check us out. We help clients, so if anybody needs us, I think, fill out the form on our website or shoot me an email. So, we can either do work for our clients or help through training and upskilling. So that's the other side of our business where we do a lot of mentoring and coaching for people to get better at doing their own marketing. And we often do sort of group sessions where we can, help. We will have one coming up on Google Analytics 4, which most marketing managers are sort of getting their head around at the moment. So we do a lot of group training sessions. So just, jump on our website and check out some dates coming up.
Amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
No worries.